Hey guys, it's Philip and Bob, and we're back for another Trade Genius video. This time we're going to do Bitcoin Friday. We're going to take a look at the crypto charts that you guys requested. So we'll run through those real quick, and then we're going to get to the meat of today's video, which is the signal that's given us a bottom on the last three cycle lows on Bitcoin. I'm going to show you how that works and where we are in relation to that now. So without further ado, let's jump into this video.
Trade Genius.
Okay, jumping right into the charts here. This is the dollar chart, and as you can see, we have this parabolic curve that we were dealing with, and that now has fallen out of that curve like we had talked about, and we were looking for this pullback to 108.60 basically on DXY. So we think this is going to support the move on all risk assets and coincidentally into the midterms. Okay, so once we get back to this level, that's where we're going to be a little more cautious as far as this up move, because remember, we're still in a bear market, so we're just looking for lower highs until we see the all clear on the technicals and the fundamentals. The Qs, another one that we're looking at, is kind of like what crypto kind of goes along with. And this is the drawing we had in last week's video, as a head and shoulders, and you can see that's starting to play out actually pretty close to what I drew, and looking for this level in the Qs up to about 297 or so, 295 to 297. So I think crypto can also play along with that move up into the midterms. So Bitcoin dominance is moving up into our Ranger sell zone on a 2-day chart. We can go to a 1-day chart, and it's actually flipped that Ranger into a buy mode. So you guys had asked about dominance, and if you look at this is an overlay of the altcoin index, basically altperp. FTX has an altcoin index which works pretty good as looking at the basket of altcoins, and you can see like when we have these big thrusts up in dominance, you have the opposite effect in the altcoin market. Down here, it's been a little less like that. In other words, like here we had a stretch of dominance going up, and actually the altcoins held. And I think part of the problem now is that because stable coins are such a large part of this market, they are measured like an altcoin in terms of Bitcoin dominance. So we'd probably need to look at a Bitcoin dominance that excludes the stablecoin market and is just more of a percentage of the overall crypto cap, excluding stablecoins. I think that would be another way to look at it. But that being said, this move back down, as you can see, has had a big impact on the altcoins going up here. And they've had a strong move, which we caught in the room on ADA and Chainlink. And I don't think this move is done. I think that altcoins are still going to probably benefit from the risk on in the markets until the midterm. So as far as Bitcoin dominance goes, we'll watch as we get into this Ranger buy zone. We can check on this next week and see where we're at. And then maybe we'll get a pullback in the alt market when we get down to that level. Bitcoin USD, again, I circled this last week, this high going up to 23. And I think, let me get rid of this altcoin. There we go. So I still think that we have the Ranger sell zone up here at over 22, and I still think this prior high is a target for this market, and I think we can actually get up into the 23s. I think in this market too. We'll see how this goes, and we'll see where we're at as we head into the midterms. But I just think trying to fight this before the midterms, I think you're going to be early to a short and be underwater if you do. So. Anyway, still on track for this move back up into this area to attack this high up here at 22.7 approximately. All right, ETHUSD is actually hitting its daily Ranger sell zone already. And it's running into some interference here. Now, if it flips this, 1790 or so is about where the next level would be for the bulls to attack. There's going to be a bunch of liquidity above this level. And I think this area here would be an interesting spot, anywhere on up to about 1840 to 50. For a short, if you feel inclined to short that move. But again, I'm not a fan of shorts ahead of the midterms, so just keep that in mind on all these names that we're looking at. ADA USD, we caught this trade. As you can see, we highlighted this zone in the prior week videos. We said this is a big weekly support zone, and sure enough, we've popped out of that. Now, for ADA to really get going, it's going to have to get up over 42 cents, 42.6 cents, flip that to support, and then move higher. Okay, so we're going to need to see something along the lines of this to get a move up. And then even then, we're looking at the next level to battle would be 46.2 cents. All right. Algo looking good so far. It's going to probably have some resistance up here at 35.8 cents. And again, if you want to get higher than that, you're going to have to see a move where we flip this up like this and then higher. Atom USD, Cosmos ecosystem. This actually is very bullish on a daily. If we flip down to a 4-hour, you can see we flipped this area here of support and resistance. So now 1323.5 becomes support. So we look for that to hold. If you do get a pullback to this over the weekend, that's probably a decent buying op right there. AAVE USD came into the buy zone. We got some buy alerts on that, moved up so far. We are going into the weekend, gang, so just keep in mind that's been fairly soft as of late. It's gotten very quiet on the weekend, so I'm not expecting too much in the way of fireworks. As far as this going higher, basically you want to see these lows hold. Could we come back against this over the weekend? We could. If we take out these lows, there's probably some liquidity in here, and this area or even under this low, I would be interested in a swing buy there on AVE. I think, like I said, I think things are still going to continue to go up. AVAX moves really well in these up cycles, and if we do have a good push into the midterms and beyond, we could certainly come back up and test this area where we had this initial liquidation breakdown. Something like AVE that has good strength is able to do these kinds of moves. So if by the time this bear rally gets exhausted, we could certainly be up to 2160, but if we're up there at that point, this is where I would be cautious. Okay, but it certainly could get there. First or next level it needs to grab is this 1930 and turn that into support. All right, BAT, basic attention token, BAT USD. This probably is one of the more sluggish plays, I would say, compared to what we've been looking at. But I do think it's probably going to come back up and test this 31.3 cent level. And at that point, you're going to have to flip that to support, get over it, back test it. That would be a buy, and then off to the races. So you're looking at something like that. Similar setup on these various tokens. BNB, very strong day with the market finally cracking over this level of resistance. So you want to see this $300 level flip to support. Okay, still not out of the woods. That could reject here, because a lot of times what will happen is you'll get all the stops above these levels and then reject. So it's better to see a move where over the next 4 hours you come up and then you back test it, and then you'd be looking for that buy and then back up, continue on up. .USD. Again, another situation where you're probably going to get to that 680 level in this cycle. If you're swing trading this, probably take profit there and then wait to see if it's going to go up like these other tokens. This is a common theme with all these tokens. They're either going to break these resistance levels and go up and then back test these supports. You just want to know where these supports are on these tokens. And if they do hold, then I don't see a lot in the way for this thing to boogie and get up, especially if we can clear this area of resistance at 723 or so, because then you're going to get this what we call like singles, where you just didn't have there's no overlap in price, right? It just went straight down. A lot of times the market likes to backfill these areas, so that's what I would look for if we can clear 723 and flip that to support. EGLD, kind of range bound here, but we are at a level of support resistance right around there at 59.85. So if it hits that support, I'm actually looking for it to gun at that point to this area where it broke down from these highs. So then flip 59.85 to support, which I do believe will hit, and then take it up to 65.63. H-bar, Ranger Sell Zone is your target up there at almost 6.5 cents. And then H-bar, I'm not sure we're going to get a whole lot of upside just because of the way this thing tends to kind of stay range bound. So I think there's better plays than H-bar, but I think for now you gun for that 6.5 cent mark. Hex, nice bounce off the Ranger buy zone here. Again, I think it's a situation where you're probably going to gun for 5 cents. This project as a whole, you got to be careful the way that it's structured and things are locked up. People like it, people don't like it. I'm not going to get into that part of it, but chart wise, I think for short-term trade, I could certainly see it getting to 5 cents. As far as a long-term hold, I think things like this are risky, just as a general rule. IOTX USD has flipped 2.7 cents to support, and therefore I'm looking for 0.031 to 0.031 basically as a target, and then we'll see if we can flip that to support. Luna Classic, they're trying to reboot Luna. But right now, 2.00025 cents. Okay, we're talking fractions of a penny here. That's your resistance. And if it can clear that, I could certainly see it going to try and test 0.0027. All right. Matic's always a good trading instrument. And as you can see here, if we zoom out, it's been holding levels from July, which actually is pretty impressive because a lot of things rolled off from then. So Matic's been really good relative strength. And I think it has a date with almost 105. I think we're going to get there just as we progress toward the midterms. Somebody in the room asked about Orca. So I'm just going to cover this. It's kind of illiquid, as you can see on a 4-hour chart. I mean, when you see these kind of candles on a 4-hour chart, probably a pretty illiquid instrument. That being said, it does like to pulse up. And we do have a double top here at about $1.05. So I wouldn't be surprised if we did see a push to that level. But if you do get that, take profits because this is a very pump and dumpy coin. All right, SHIB USD, Shiba Inu. A popular retail token, obviously, and it did push up over this 1169 level. I'm not even going to get into what tenth or millionth of a percent that is. We'll just call it 1169. Flip that to support is what we're looking at here, and if we can hold over that level and support, I'm actually looking at this breakdown area there at 1296 as the next target for you. I don't know. We may get higher. If that flips to support, then we would look at this high. And I don't know if we're going to get there on this cycle, but this high here at 1480, I think would be a grand slam for Shiba Inu on this rotation up. Solana, another really strong day today. Kind of cleared out of this area, which is impressive. And I think now 3410 is pretty well in the cards as far as the move probability wise. I think it looks good. We also have a bit of a kind of an ugly head and shoulders inverted, which you guys know is bullish, right? You got that and that and that. Okay. And your neckline, you just broke over the neckline basically today. So the measured move is this. So if we take this roughly and we move it up here, your measured move is 36.49. And that's the way the technicals work out for that move. Okay. Okay. Last but not least, XRP. I know a lot of you guys are into XRP. So basically it needs to flip 48.1 cent, flip that to support. And then I think you have significant resistance at 51 cents. And I don't think I would look for too much more than that. If you do get to 51 cents and if it does flip that to support, that's extremely strong. But I'm leaning on the fact that probably doesn't happen in this cycle. All right, so that's your rundown on the charts. Okay, so now we're going to dive into this secret Bitcoin signal. What the heck are we talking about? So let's dive into that chart and let's take a look. All right, guys, so here's two moving averages, and they're kind of oddball moving averages that most people don't look at. That's why, it's kind of like not very well known, okay? It's not an original idea by me, but it's just something that a lot of people don't look at. And so it's the 137 daily simple moving average, and it's the 2-year simple moving average. And a lot of times when you get a cross down of the faster moving average over the slower moving average, so in this case, the 137 crossing down through the 2-year SMA, normally in the stock world, that's called a death cross. However, when it comes to Bitcoin cycles, those are the cycle bottoms, okay? Now, if you don't believe me, we can go back and look every time that's happened. And so the last time we had that was here in December of 2018. We were right at our lows of the cycle down here in low threes, happened there, right? And it crossed up. And you'll notice that eventually we meet up with that 137 simple moving average, and it's a bit of resistance. And look at where we're at right now on it. Boom, right there. So we probably have some fight here. Now, if we break above it, which we could certainly do on this rotation up of this bear market rally, you definitely start to get some momentum over that. Here's the other time it happened here back in January 2015. Okay, so these crosses don't happen very often, right? But when they do, pay attention. I think it's a combination of these algos probably queue in or queue on some of these crosses and use them in the inverse way that most people are taught. And then you have fundamentals that kind of coincide with that as well. And the cycles basically have played into this timing as well. So you have all that, and that's why they probably work the way they do. That being said, here was a cross on Tuesday, January 15, bottom of the cycle, and then we go up. Now you'll notice we came up after that cross happens. We came up, hit that 137 average, and that was significant resistance. But once you do punch through it, you do get a move. Doesn't mean like you're in the clear totally, but if you are getting above it and it's holding as support, just know that that move can get some legs. So I thought that was very interesting. So if you want to zoom out on the chart and see what that looks like, okay, that's these labels signal every time that's happened. So there's 1, 2, 3. Okay, not bad. So all things being equal, you would say 17,500 is probably our cycle low. But guess what? We haven't been through a recession yet in Bitcoin. So these cycles were in much different macroeconomic situations. So just respect the fact that we're in a bear market, and these bear markets usually last. Remember, we talked about them lasting once we get past the 200-day mark, we're probably going to 300 days. So that takes us into what we view as probably more like the Q1 to Q2 area for the bear market. So we could certainly take out this low, but if we do, I think when you zoom out and look at these cycles, these are going to be good buying opportunities in the long haul. Because trust us, sooner or later they're going to get accommodative. They're going to ease as far as the central banks go, and things will turn back up. They always do. The cycle keeps on going. So I thought this was a very interesting indicator. I think you can find this out there. I think it's called Bitcoin Super Cycle. And but anyway, that's I thought it was interesting because these moving averages do play a key role in this cycle, and especially when you come up to them. And here we are at 20,830. So that level should be significant resistance based on how Bitcoin interacts with that average. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today, on top of looking at the chart. So hopefully you guys found that interesting and something to keep an eye on going forward as Bitcoin matures through these halving cycles that it goes through. So with that being said, Bob, tomorrow is Sector Saturday. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we're going to stay with our energy theme, and I thought it'd be really interesting if you notice the large cap energy names are just generating a lot of cash right now, and they're under owned in the S&P 500, and there's still a lot of reluctance for them to do a lot of capex because the political environment is still hostile to that. You still got the ESG folks talking about a lot of transitioning to renewables. So an easy way for them to start growing their businesses is to start acquiring their younger rivals. And we had a nice one a couple weeks ago when CLR got taken out, and I think you're going to see more and more of those. So I thought I'd just throw a few of these charts out at you and to get you oriented toward looking at some stocks to own in 2023 that may turn out to be acquisition plays. So I thought that's what we talk about tomorrow.
Awesome. Look forward to it. All right, guys, thanks again for watching our crypto episode. Bitcoin Fridays, we'll do this every Friday, every week, as we will do the Sector Saturdays every week as well. So look forward to that. And as always, we thank you for watching. Please hit like and subscribe. Really helps us out. And we do appreciate all the views we've been getting recently and all the comments. And let us know what you think about what we went over today. And if you have any plays for tomorrow that you'd like to look at in the energy sector, let us know that too. All right, guys, until tomorrow, have a great one, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Trade Genius.